Let's go back now to the plaza where Gloria is with CBC Live. Gloria?
Hi there, Tony, and I've got a special guest once again. This is George Stroumboulopoulos, the man who needs no introduction, I should say. And we're out here at CBC Plaza because it's Culture Days here in Vancouver and across the country as well. When I say Culture Days, we're celebrating arts and culture across the country. It's great to have you part of this.
Oh, I'm happy to be here. It's so much fun.
Well, I want people to see what's been going on here throughout the day. Deb Goebel has spent the day out here talking to people and giving you a little bit of an idea of what kind of fun we've been having. Here's Deb.
As Scottish-Canadian crooner Johnny Reid stops to Bhangra with a local dance troupe, the second annual Cultural Days begins.
I hereby declare Culture Days 2011 open!
Over the next few days, hundreds of communities will celebrate the largest public participation campaign ever undertaken by arts groups in Canada.
It's made up of many different cultures, colours, sizes, religions, beliefs. It's like a big bowl of confetti. It's all different things, but together it's something beautiful.
Something beautiful that encompasses so many cultures.
This is Bollywood jazz.
Bollywood jazz?
Yes. Yeah.
What is that? Would you say that's a fusion?
Yeah, basically it's a fusion of a lot of Bollywood moves with a lot of Western dancing. 1, 2.
Because the definition of Canadian culture is as vast and diverse as we are.
It's my mother dancing to a waltz, my mom making pierogies in the house because she's Ukrainian. To me, that's my identity, that's my identification with Canadian culture. I know she's Eastern European, but that's Canadian. Because I also walked outside my front house to see my neighbor and his family are watching Bollywood films.
It's not always easy to describe.
We're always trying to figure it out, I think, is sort of a question mark maybe.
But we know it when we feel it.
Even from just seeing here, you can see so many different types of dances, acting, like different cultures just brought together, and it really shows what we're all about.
Here in Canada, when it comes to culture of the arts, they don't leave anybody out.
Whether we're born into it or choose it, our culture is part of who we are. Never just one thing, it is what makes us Canadian, and it is always worth celebrating. Deborah Goebel, CBC News, Vancouver.
Yes, celebrating Culture Days here in Vancouver. And George, I loved your comment about your Ukrainian mom. My dad was Ukrainian. And growing up with all of this sort of multicultural influences. But at what point for you, I mean, for your career, at what point did it sort of click and it's like, this is going to be my beat?
It was, probably about 5 years ago. Like, I really just kind of got into this just to talk about music and talk about films. And then somewhere in retrospect, I went, wow. Been around with some really cool things and seen some really interesting people tell some really neat stories, and that was only in the last few years on this TV show that I have now, because I think once you get to CBC, you kind of realize that, coast to coast to coast, this is the place that tells all these stories in so many different languages, not just the English and the French that you hear about growing up. So CBC's Culture Days is kind of indicative of, or reflective of what my life was like growing up in my neighborhood, which is incredibly multicultural.
And what about the traveling aspect? I mean, do you have to get outside of the country to sort of appreciate what we've got in this country?
Yeah, you do. I mean, I spent a lot of time working in the States and with a group of people who are all Canadian, and once everybody leaves Canada, they go, wow, that place is amazing. So you get a real sense of identity. I mean, ask Adam Beach, right? Adam is a big Hollywood star, and he's so ecstatic to be back here making a TV show in this country. And you'll see him on the street, you'll talk to him, and you'll see it's genuine. It's something special to be able to tell stories in this country. We're such a unique experiment, Canada, and we're young, but so far it's working, so far. And we just hang on to it as long as we can.
Well, I was watching you interview Adam a little bit earlier on today. I mean, you've been busy out here all day. What have been some of the highlights for you of Culture Days here?
I had a moment sitting across from Alan and Adam Beach, looking at the two of them, thinking, you guys are the future. This country's had some greats, right? Chris Plummer, Bill Shatner, Gordon Pinsent, and they're still greats. We've had them. And that next wave of greats, Paul Gross, Don McKellar, Adam Beach, Alan Hocko, and others. There's greats coming up, and we've had the Dale sisters. This is great actors in this country. And looking at the two of them on the couch going, wow, down the road, you two are going to be in that film together, the next buddy picture, whatever it's going to be.
Can I add another name to that list? George Stroumboulopoulos.
Oh, stop it. I only pretend at home. I don't pretend on the stage.
Thanks so much for being
Anytime,
here.
Glomar. Thank you.
We'll be right back. Thank you. I know.